Hello and welcome to another Filofax video. I'm really excited to be filming this because I've been planning it for a really long time. I'm going to show you how I've been progressing with the current layout that I'm using in my Filofax at the moment, and then we're going to set up my diary for 2024. I've got all the pieces here, so I'll talk you through them as we get set up so you know what's what. So this is a Filofax Finsbury that my mum bought me for Christmas years and years ago. I used it ever since, but defaulted for a couple of years to Passion Planner, and I really liked some of the systems that they used. So what I did is I went on the hunt for Etsy creators who made inserts that were similar to the layouts that I was using in my Passion Planner, and I brought them over into my Filofax. So I'll let you know all of the creators that I have been using in this particular Filofax so that you can go and check them out on Etsy. Nothing here is sponsored, but everything that I have used will be linked in the description box below so you can check them out. I will also say that this is a great time of year for Filofaxes. Everybody's thinking about planning for the year ahead, and you'll find that lots of people go out and indulge in a Filofax or put one on their Christmas gift list. So I just wanted, and probably this isn't a massively good idea in terms of, you know, staying on Filofax's good side, but I will say that you can find a lot of official Filofaxes in the secondhand market. If you go on Vinted or you go on Depop and you type in Filofax, you're gonna find Filofaxes. When people get these as gifts and it's not their cup of tea, they know that that was an expensive gift. So sometimes they'll just put it up on the secondhand market brand new in the box for someone else to buy so that they can recoup the money. And I find the same thing with people who have good intentions and buy a Filofax, realize that they're not going to use it and want to get that money back again. So before you buy new, do hit up the secondhand market and see what you can find. Because these things are fucking expensive, you know? Okay, so this is my 2023 Filofax. I'm particularly proud of this cover page. For those of you who don't know, when I'm done with the year, I archive my Filofax inserts using these rings, so that I can flip backwards and forwards and always find what I'm looking for in previous diaries, which means when I archive this at the end of the year, I'll leave all of these dividers in here and I'll just take my daily pages out, put them in rings, and then I've got something I can refer back to. I use my label maker here to make a nice little label so that I can always see what I'm looking at. Here are some previous examples for you. As you can see, I've left the monthly dividers in so that their diaries are easy to navigate. And I also leave my budgeting pages in there as well, just so that I can see financially where I was at. Anything else, like the notes or the goals or whatever, I'll probably get rid of. And then my address inserts, I'll leave those. They just stay in here. I never really change those. So this is the cover page for this year. Next year's cover page, I'm sorry, but this is probably the best thing I've ever fucking made. This is Sofia Coppola, Bimbo Vampire by way of Clive Barker. It's just, I mean, bitch, I've outdone myself, but that's, you know, that's not for now. So a couple of things have changed since I talked you through my setup initially. I started out with my monthly dashboards, which, as you can see, I customize very heavily. An example of a plain monthly dashboard is this, and I've decided that this doesn't work for me, so I've made this instead. I had a massive section up here for books. This is my to-do list for the month. This section is for my monthly mastermind meeting. This section here is for my monthly tarot card. And I found that this wasn't quite cutting it. I still wasn't really using this page for much other than to refer to this during my mastermind meeting and to kind of see where I'm at in the month, top-down view. So over the months, I started kind of toying around with the layout, and we've eventually arrived. Look, isn't this fucking... I'm not good at a lot of things, guys, but I am good at papercraft. I'm gonna say it, alright? Somebody needed to come out and say it. I'm fucking amazing at papercraft. This is just some of the spreads that I've done this year. You can tell I have a lot of fun with this. What I'll typically do is set aside some me time to sit down and just do my monthly dashboard. I never do them all in one go, I do them one by one. So as you can see, I'm currently in October, and there's been a little bit of a change. So what I've started doing is using a plain sticker to block out this whole section up here, and then I've used this half of it for the monthly moon, just to talk through what this particular moon is all about. Blood moon is in October, spirits, divination, ancestors. Then I have a separate section for books, and I had to blank this out because I started reading more books than there was lines. If you can see, I've started trying to cram them all in here and it just looks like a mess. So I blocked it all out and put it neatly there. Mastermind's got a much bigger section compared to what it had at the beginning of the year. To be fair, these all vary in size, like quite wildly. But if you compare this, where I'm cramming my notes in and haven't used all of the to-do list, I was like, why am I doing this? So now I've got a nice big mastermind section with only a few notes. And for monthly notes, I'll do things like order the firewood, book the chimney sweep, you know, buy Filofax inserts, things that I know I will need to do in and around that month. They're just prompts and reminders. So yeah, that's how that's changed. I've kind of just taken complete charge of this and the layout, and I have bought more monthly overview inserts from Zaza paper that I'm going to be using again next year. And I did use them last year as well. As you can see here, you can see that year on year they have gotten more elaborate. This is relatively simple compared to the kinds of layouts that I have nowadays. If you look at that, it's quite basic, and this I've got a bit over the top. So that's how I've adapted that. I also was quite particular about my notes section for this year. I started logging all of my wins on this lovely little note card that I got from my friend Rosie Quinn on Etsy. And I like that idea so well that I'm actually going to use this note card for 2024 to log down all of my wins. And to be fair, these wins, they just veer wildly from the mundane to quite extravagant things. So I reviewed Evil Dead Rise for Metal Hammer magazine this year, and there was a director Q&A, and I was at the UK premiere. One of the most exciting things I've ever been paid to do for work. Just wild. I loved it. I was in a gunship music video. That was really, really fun. But also I read 5 books in a month, you know? And I was brave enough to network at Fright Fest this year. And I saw Busted and Hanson perform together. And I made a business TikTok. So it's small things and big things. I knitted a pair of leg warmers, you know? I like to celebrate the full gamut of wins. My goals, actually, I do love this format, and I will use it next year because I like to use my time on this planet wisely, and I'm very driven to achieve the things that I want to achieve. But here's the thing with the goals this year. So I had a really hard year last year. Me and my husband bought our very first home, but the moving process was definitely not smooth. It was a total fucking disaster. And at the same time, my mum was taken into a hospital and she very quickly passed away shortly after that. And so it was a very heavy, very stressful year. And I've found that even though I came into this year feeling like, okay, I'm ready to get moving again, I'm ready to kind of start doing things and stop feeling so overwhelmed, I found that I just don't have the fucking energy. This year, I have had zero energy to give any sort of a fuck whatsoever or to do things. I'm like, I can't bring myself to give a shit right now. And ultimately, I've decided that's okay. I'm probably suffering from burnout and fatigue, emotional fatigue from last year. I'm just enjoying the fact that things are starting to feel a little bit more stable in my life. We've got the house kind of roughly where we want it to be. We've got our ducks in a row. I'm starting to feel okay again. So it's not a huge deal to me that I didn't achieve all of these. I never launched She's Got Guts, my horror newsletter. I did do some of my heart goals. I didn't join a choir yet. But to be fair, I've done all right. I've done okay. And this is a lovely number of wins. So I will bring this goal tracking system over into 2024. And perhaps, I'll be a bit more motivated to do things. I did hang out in real life once a quarter. So that's something I achieved. I also set up my notes section with a reading list and a gift wish list and an area for me to just spew out all of my ideas and a rolling to-do list and stuff. I haven't used this that much, and here's why. So in terms of the reading list, my thinking behind making this was so that I would always have a pipeline of stuff I was excited to read, and that would get me reading more, because I've really struggled since the pandemic to focus and concentrate and get back into reading. And I used to read a hell of a lot. Obviously, I'm a freelance writer and I studied English at GCSE, A-level, degree and master's level. So I'm big into reading and I just have struggled with it. So I thought, do this. This is the way to go. Throughout the year, I've developed a brand new system that I actually prefer. So I'm doing a note on my phone with a checklist instead. And what I've started doing is browsing Waterstones to find the types of books that I'm really interested in. I'm having a little read, I'm having a little feel. I'm taking a photo of the book cover, and then I'm coming home, logging onto my Buckinghamshire online library system, searching the books that I want in the library system, and then getting them shipped to my local library, where I'm reading them completely for free. The number of books I get through, especially if they're really, really good and I'm gobbling them up, it would cost me a fucking fortune to buy from scratch. So I use the library. And I also download on my Kindle because I'm trying not to buy physical books unless they're secondhand, and I'm trying not to buy physical books full stop. So this kind of system didn't really work for me. I needed something that was a bit more on the go, a bit more intuitive, where I can take photos and kind of list them out. So I've resorted to using my phone for this now. Same for my wish list. So I actually downloaded an app called Wish, which allows me to save a link and create like a master gift list. If I can, I'll put a screen recording up for you so that you can see. It allows me to mark out the most wanted gifts, and then I can just send people the link and they can click and choose what they want off of the list. And that's really helpful for me. because I can pinpoint exactly what the item is so that there's no confusion. Writing it here just creates an extra step in me having to then Google it, find a link and send it. So this has been superseded. There'll always be room for a brain dump though, so I'll probably keep this in here. This, absolutely did not use it. And I do like to keep a back page for events that are going to be coming up in the next year, and I don't have inserts for it yet, so that's all good. My finance pages, absolutely, I'm going to keep doing those. The pages that I use at the moment were a PDF online download that you can just print out. And kind of, I used just my normal printer paper, which means that these are a little bit flimsy, and as you can see, they're looking a bit worse for wear. I also edited it to say what I wanted it to say, rather than what it was already on here. But I really do like this system. So I treated myself to some actual inserts from Crossbow Planner, which I'll be using next year. And I know that your banking app, especially if you use something like Monzo, will tell you exactly where you are and what you've spent and where you've spent it and whatnot. Something about listing it out and checking off the bills as they come out, and checking in with yourself as to how much you've got left and how much is spare. Something about doing that physically and listing it out makes it sink in for me. If I'm just always looking at a graph or looking at a digital thing on my phone, it just doesn't go in. I don't take the information in. Whereas if I'm writing it and I'm ticking it off, I'm regularly checking back in with my phone. I'm regularly looking at what's coming in and what's going out, and it keeps me a lot more in tune with what I'm spending and what my bills are. And the act of listing my bills out also really highlights for me stuff that I don't need anymore, subscriptions I can get rid of, etc. So this is absolutely something I'll keep doing. I've been able to get my spending under control, save a lot more money just by doing this, so it's definitely worth it. Another thing that's changed since the beginning of the year, so I've been using this section up here as my monthly to-do list. If you'll remember, way back in the day, I had a kind of Dutch door thing that I was doing, but that was just a little bit too much maintenance and a little bit too much to look at on the page. I prefer just to have my diary open next to me at my desk and just be able to just see everything that's there without having this bit in the way. So I moved notes to up here, and I was like, oh, we can still make it cute. We'll have a little bit of washi tape, we'll still make it cute. Fast forward to the end of the year, I'm just drawing a little thought cloud around it. Fuck that right off, do you know what I mean? Keep it easy. I am still color coding my pages to match up with my Trello board. If you haven't seen my video on how I use Trello to pipeline my freelance tasks, I'll leave it linked for you below, but the long and the short of it is that I color code all of the tasks in my Trello workboard to correspond to the different days. So I just highlighted my Filofax in those same colors so that I'm kind of seamlessly showing my brain that it's the same thing, if you get me. Another thing that I was doing that I think I will decide to stop doing is tracking my cycle so intently. So what I would do is I would say when one phase is beginning and another phase is ending, and I'd number the days here to correspond to the day of my cycle, and I'd also kind of draw a line under the day. So my ovulation is color coded blue, so I'm just drawing a blue line under the days I'm ovulating, so that when I'm looking at my Filofax, I'm like, oh, this is occurring during my ovulation, or this is occurring during my luteal phase, and it's kind of easy for me to see what phase I'm in and what day of my cycle I'm on, which is really great, but it also requires a lot of kind of mental gymnastics at the beginning of my cycle to kind of go through and fill all this out. So what I've done instead is I've actually downloaded an app, and I don't know if you're seeing a theme here, all of my beautiful Filofax systems being superseded by an app. But I downloaded an app called Stardust, and my sister put me onto it, and I just love it. It's kind of a full moon witchy type of an app, and it will send me every morning a notification to tell me where I am in my cycle, what my hormones are doing, and how I can potentially expect to feel in terms of my energy or my mood, or in terms of how I'll feel in my body, like will I be bloated, will I be tired, will I have aches and pains, etc. And it's so meticulous that I don't need this system, because I've got someone automatically every morning telling me where I'll be at. So what I've decided to do is keep numbering the days of my cycle, because that's nice and easy. It doesn't take a lot of effort for me to do that. And I'll probably leave the intimate details of which phase of the cycle I'm in to my app. Okay, so with that out of the way, shall we put together next year's Filofax? Here she is at the moment. I've just used magazine covers to protect the inserts. And I will be using this page here as my Freelance holiday tracker. So if you haven't seen, let me see if I can find it in here. Here we go. I use this for my holidays so that I can have a top-down view throughout the year of where my holidays occur. And it's just really nice. It's a nice way to commit to taking time off and to check it off as you go. Otherwise I wouldn't take any time off, because it's never a good time, is it, to take time off when you're a freelancer? So you've really got to make time for it. And by using this system, it ensures that I'm taking time off every 3 months. And I know some freelancers don't need very regular breaks, but I'm the kind of writer who absolutely does. I get burnt out so quickly. So this will help me have regular time off. And then as you can see, I've just stuck to the same system I used before. Unfortunately, I got bloody inserts that start on a Sunday, which I hate. But I wanted this space up here with the little mini calendar, so this is what I went for. You've just got to get what you can blooming get your hands on, really, isn't it? So to this I will be adding my finance bill payments, and I will be adding my monthly overview inserts, and I will be doing my card, my wins card. Now, I wanted my black leather look monthly dividers, and they accidentally sent me white ones. And at first I thought, these are disgusting. I'm going to use them to archive my old pages, and I'll just use my old black dividers in the new diary. But actually, something about this with this is really kind of slutty 80s hair metal groupie. Like white vinyl with gold jewellery. I don't know. I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep that. I also have some note pages. Anything that I don't use in the year, I save in this book, so I can make inserts last for a long time. For example, this is the divider that I use for my Christmas planning section, which I actually do need to add to my current diary, because it's about time I started budgeting. But as you can see, this is exactly what you bloomin' need when you're trying to plan Christmas. Honestly. And this has lasted me about 3 years. So, I'm going to use the spend tracker, the expenses, the to-do list, and the shopping list. And I'll add that into my current diary. Okay, so I'm happy with this for the meantime. As you can see, I've taken out a chunk of pages from this Filofax because I want to make room for some of the months ahead, just so that I'm not caught out when I'm planning. Do you ever get that thing where you're at the dentist and someone is like, oh, we've got an appointment for early next year, and you've got no fucking idea whether or not you're free because your other brand new diary isn't with you? So that's what this is. I've already got appointments for the beginning of the year, so it's worth it to me to just have those in front of me. And also, by taking out those pages, I will now, of course, have room for my Christmas inserts, which I use this beautiful little divider that I made. And I'm going to pop in my gift spend tracker, my expenses, my to-do list and my shopping list just into here, and then I will start planning my Christmas budget. So that's pretty much all that I've got for you here today. New diary, old diary. I will check back again in the new year once these inserts are fully inside this book and all of my systems have been properly transferred over. Obviously, these need to be sexed up a little bit. I'm gonna have some fun with this and kind of name it like what I have with this one. I've just decorated it a little bit. Then I need to fill out my goals for the year as well in my goal tracker. I haven't really considered what I'm going to be aiming for next year either, so something to think about in the long term. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you found this helpful or at least mildly entertaining. If you've got any questions about the systems that I use or the inserts that I've got here or how I made my dividers or anything, please give me a shout in the comments section. I love chatting about stuff like this, so I'll be delighted to help out. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.